So one of the things that Sarah and I decided a few years ago, we had moved from Lebanon to Lynchburg, Virginia. And in doing that, we had a moving company that was actually paid for us, that they took care of the move. We were trying to go through and pack everything up, and they said, nope, stop that, don't actually pack anything. If you do that, it'll void the insurance. So we didn't go through anything when we moved between those towns. When we got on the other end, the house that we moved into had a huge unfinished basement. So we actually wound up just storing stuff down there that we weren't going to use yet, and we said, oh, we'll bring it up eventually. Well, fast forward almost a year later, we decided, you know what, if it's still in the basement, we probably don't need it. We haven't brought it up, it's been a year. So that actually introduced a rule for us where we said, if you haven't used it in a year, then you're not going to keep it. So what we do is we go through and we donate it. So we donate, or we'll sell that, because maybe it's that there is something else that we want. So there is something else that we want, but we don't want to spend more money for something else when you've got a bunch of stuff that's sitting around. So for instance, recently Josie had her little pink hot rod, her little push car that we put her in. We got when she was about 1 year old. And she had stopped using that as much. She didn't want to ride in it, but we wanted to get her this cool little push tricycle that she's going to be able to grow into. So we can push her on it right now. As she gets older, then she can change it to where we take the handle off and it's just a tricycle. So it'll be really fun for her. But we kind of did what I learned as I was growing up. So my dad would spend a lot of time buying music equipment. So he would want different things, but instead of going out to just spend a bunch of money out of pocket, if you had other things that you weren't using, you kind of, where I grew up, you'd call it horse trading. You went and you sold something, you upgraded, you did that, you just kind of over and over again. Probably makes sense why Sarah and I really like that show. What's the name of it on Netflix, where they buy the car and they flip it and like they get a nicer and nicer one over time? I can't remember the
Rust Shop?
No, not Rust Restorations. Not Rust Valley Restorations. But anyways, it's on Netflix.
What's the price?
I'll pop it in. When I look it up as I'm editing this. So that was who it was. I'm glad that we were able to get that taken care of, because it was bothering me. I feel so much closure now that I was able to go and look that up while I was editing this, so that you can benefit from knowing who it was. But from us doing that and making sure that we're sticking to a tight budget, a tight spending plan, that helps us out, because we're able to go through and you don't accumulate so much stuff. When we moved out of that house, we still had a lot of things, and we were moving to a smaller townhouse. And I can remember poor Sarah in the middle of, it was raining, we were trying to move stuff out, and we had like given up on some of these things. It was like, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff and that we don't need. So we were pushing it out by the curb, and there were college students from Lynchburg and Liberty that were coming like, oh my gosh, are you getting rid of this? I'd love to have it. So we were like, please just take it. So I think we were moving stuff until like 2 or 3 in the morning that day. But it was, that's when we really realized how much stuff you accumulate so quickly. Do I have anything in my teeth? When we lived in Lynchburg, Sarah started up a decluttering business. So she spent a lot of time helping people go through things and use some of this same mindset, as far as if you haven't used it in a year, to be able to pass that on or sell it. So that's one of the things that stuck with us. One of the things that I learned through doing that is to go through your closet, and whichever way you normally hang the hangers, like normally you hang them with the hook going back towards the wall, go through and instead reverse everything. And that way when you get through to the end of the year, you know what did you actually not take off the hanger. Like that's easy for you to tell to get rid of. So that's some I guess extra knowledge for the day of going through. She's crying. She's so mad. Oh, so we got a fussy baby now in the back seat. So before we go, we want to make sure for Orlando on a Budget, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you never miss an episode. Until next time, this is Andy.